Hello there. What's going on, everybody? Today I'm going to do an Armada build based on Star Wars Squadrons. I've already done an Imperial list, kind of a Star Wars Squadrons based Imperial list, and I wanted to do a Rebel version of that today, and I'm going to be using Ryan Kingston's Fleet Builder. Also, if you are new here, be sure to click that subscribe button, leave a comment. That automatically enters you to win the $25 Amazon gift card. And if you want to know more about that or any of the other giveaways I'm running right now, or any of the other links for social media or any of that stuff, check the video description. You'll find links to Patreon, t-shirt shop, and all kinds of cool stuff like that. All kinds of cool ways to help support the channel. All right, so Ryan Kingston's Fleet Builder here is going to give us all of these ships, and starting with the main ships you find in a fleet battle is going to be an MC-75, 2 Nebulons, and then occasionally a CR-90. So let's start with the flagship. We're going to go, because you could go, granted, you could go with a Starhawk, right? But that's not really in the fleet battle. It's certainly there. It's certainly, present, but it's not usually part of the fleet battle. It's kind of just there. But yeah, the Starhawk would be an option to consider, but I'm not going to do that here. I'm going to go with an MC-75, and I'm going to go with an armored cruiser. I wanted the bigger anti-squadron weapon on here. I wanted the better flak, and I think that's one of the things that we're going for, because in Star Wars Squadrons, those ships do have some strong anti-squadron capability, and that's one of the things I'm kind of going to emphasize in this build. Also, for our commander, I figured this takes place before Star Wars Aftermath, and since the game is, I really wanted to use, Hera as my commander, but she doesn't exist for a commander. I hope she does eventually, but I think, and I certainly think she will be coming to this game at some point. She definitely has, a big enough presence. But I figured the most appropriate for this particular setting would be Kirsta Agate. Because she was known for being a Starhawk commander, and since Star Wars Squadrons is all about the Starhawk, she was certainly alive during this point, that it would make sense for Kirsta to take command of the MC-75, which is protecting Project Starhawk in this case. So, and also she would work pretty well on this particular ship. And she'll also free us up some points, so I don't have to use a defensive retrofit. This isn't going to be the most competitive build of all time. It's going to just be a more of a fun thematic build. So, not everything in here is going to be perfect. But I'm trying to free up enough points for a lot of other things. But I'm going to put 3 upgrades on this ship. It's going to be black dice centric here. We're going to have ordnance experts. We're going to try and get that, because that's going to work with our squadron attacks, and it's going to work in our front and rear attack. Obviously, it's not going to work against the side attack. We're going to have something else. We're going to have linked turbo laser towers for the side attacks. And look, that's also going to work for anti-squadron as well. So both of these upgrades aren't going to work 100% of the time. Again, like I said, it's not a super competitive build, because I probably would go with maybe something a little different if I wanted to be super competitive. But I wanted this one to work in a lot of different use cases. And I think both of these will work against squadrons, which I said earlier was kind of one of the main points of this build. These will both work pretty well against squadrons. Now, for our, I'm also putting a ordnance on here. And look, I do love ordnance pods. I think you could totally get away with running ordnance pods here. But I feel like I have enough anti-squadron stuff already. So I'm going to lean a little bit more into external racks, which, by the way, also can be used against squadrons. And so ordnance pods is only against squadrons, whereas external racks can be either or. Granted, it is only a one-shot. But either one, and they're both 3 points, so if you're doing something like this list, you can totally swap those out, whatever your preference is. So I know I like this. This gives me, some flexibility. I have some strength against ships. I have some strength against squadrons, and I have a defensive measure. This is actually, I think, a fairly well-rounded, while not super, at least like a B plus, kind of well-rounded in all areas MC-75, which I'm kind of happy with. Now, we do need 2 Nebulons for this build, and it's hard kind of building at a handicap, because Nebulons aren't necessarily the strongest ship out there, and, trying to build thematic does give you some interesting choices to make. So I wanted to go with more anti-squadron, so I feel like I had to go towards Nebulon B escort frigates, because they have the better flak with the 2 blue dice. Also, they're better carriers, and I might need some carrier capability in this list, because if the name of the game is Star Wars Squadrons, I wanted to add plenty of squadrons, so I need Squadron Command ability. Now, I'm going to make both of these Nebulons identical, and I'm, surprise, I'm not going to run any titles. The Nebulons you're running in the game don't have specific titles, at least that you're aware of. I mean, I'm sure every ship has a title, but you're not running iconic titled ships, so I'm not going to run those here, at least for the Nebulons. There will be a title that comes out a little bit later, but we'll see that later. So for these guys, I'm running the Heavy Fire Zone, which I think is really, really good on the Nebulon B. What that's going to do is it's going to turn those 2 blue dice into 2 red dice for that initial volley. Until our squadrons are engaged with each other, we're going to be able to hit those at long range. We're going to be able to roll 2 red dice against enemy squadrons. That's going to be really, really strong here. And then I'm also going to run Auxiliary Shields team to give myself a little bit of extra defense. So on the first round of the game, these guys can take an engineering command and kind of buff up those side shields a little bit, kind of making up for their lack of a redirect or their lack of shields on the sides. It's going to make them a lot more survivable, a lot more of a well-rounded ship, and hopefully give them some staying power. So I've got a little bit of defense, a little bit of offense. There's some things I would have liked to do more, like I would have liked to put linked turbo laser towers on each of them as well. This is a good ship for linked turbo laser towers. However, the big however here is, if you're like me and you only have 2 linked turbo laser towers, you can't run 3 in this build. And since I want these guys to be identical, and I also want it on the MC75, I was like, and it's also expensive too. It's not a cheap upgrade. 7 points is kind of expensive, so I just decided to make the hard cut and take away the linked turbo laser towers from the Nebulon Bs, because the fact that I only have 2. Now, granted, that's physical cards. You can always proxy or do whatever. So there's certainly some options there. For our 4th ship, we are going to need that Corellian Corvette. And since I'm building thematically, I thought this is a good opportunity to change things up a little bit more, because it's normally always a CR90 with turbo laser reroute circuits. And while that's fine and good, I wanted to do something a little different. You see, in the game Star Wars Squadrons, the CR90s get up close and personal with everybody there attacking, and I figured let's go with a CR90B. So it's the one that's designed to get up close and personal, designed to not last particularly long, but hopefully to pack a punch before it goes away. And in that case, we put Dodonna's Pride on that CR90B. That is going to definitely allow us to pack a punch when we get up close and personal, at least to do some damage before we go. And I thought that would be really fun. Now, we have a little bit of room left over. I'm going to add some squadrons right now, because we definitely want some squadrons. And, the one thing we don't have is a U-wing. Whoops, I got to go down and add squadrons. So I'll talk about how we're going to address that. But let me start putting the basic squadrons in first, which are going to be the A-wing, the X-wing, and the Y-wing. Because, hey, we do have those available. It's a shame they never added B-wings, because I'd really love to put B-wings in here. But then, hey, at least we do have Y-wings. So we've got each of these, and those are good to have, but we don't have a U-wing. So what's the closest thing to a U-wing? Well, that support ship would probably, like a lot of what I'm thinking made me want to say, okay, well, maybe the HWK, which certainly is a support ship, but I feel like in this case the VCX more closely fits the bill. So VCX could work, but I'm like, wait a second, let's take this opportunity to be even more thematic. And I said I wanted Hera in the game. Let's have her here, but she's out there flying with them. Not only is this going to be thematic for the game and for the idea of the list build, but having Hera out here is also going to help those squadrons actually move, which frees up my amount of squadron commands that I have to dish out. Now, I've got more points. We're not just going to run these 4. I'm going to double up on the X-Wings and double up on the Y-Wings. So the idea is we'll have that 1 interceptor to kind of pick off those loose guys, the 2 X-Wings and the 2 Y-Wings give me a good amount of bombers and protection on those bombers. Hera is going to be able to give up to 2 of them rogue. She's got rogue herself, but I still have room for other squadron commands. So if, for example, the MC75 wants to queue up a squadron command, he can do that. If the Nebulons want to queue up a squadron command, they can do that. I can have a single Nebulon take a squadron token first turn. I can probably have them both, or maybe second turn or something like that, and have them alternate on when they activate, and have Hera give the other guys Rogue. So I have a lot of flexibility. I can have the MC-75 do it once, Nebulon do it once, and another Nebulon do it once, and kind of rotate there a little bit. So I can certainly have a lot of flexibility on how I activate squadrons this way by having Hera be the one to kind of fill in the missing links. So it gives me a lot of capability to do things like nav or concentrate fire even, which could be really fun. For objectives, I think a fun one here is going to be to put advanced gunnery out there. Advanced gunnery will be really, really good for the MC-75 because, hey, we are not running gunnery team on this ship, and here's a great candidate for advanced gunnery. If we would get really up close and personal in your face, we can pop off that front arc twice, triggering ordnance experts on both shots, external racks on one of them, or be able to take that side arc at long range. So I really like advanced gunnery here. So I thought that was just kind of a no-brainer for me. For this one, I'm also thinking fighter ambush could be a fun one. Since I have Hera out there, I can actually have a lot of squadrons activate with Rogue. And for navigation, I do like Solar Corona. I'm going to go with Solar Corona here. Superior positions is a maybe. I'm only at a medium strength for squadrons, which is fine. I don't have to be that heavy on squadrons, but Solar Corona is just a good all-around blue that works with an awful lot of situations. And you know what? I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. All right, and that's going to be the build. Yeah, that's it. Let me know in the comment section if you guys are playing Star Wars Squadrons at all. If you've seen any of my live streams, if you're interested in playing along with me, we have a channel in my Discord, which you can find links to that in the description below. And we will get people invited. I stream once or twice a week usually. So I don't have a set timetable for it. It's I usually announce in Discord, sometimes half an hour earlier or so if I'm getting ready to stream. So sometimes I'm able to make notes of it. Sometimes sometimes there's more or less notice. But if you're interested in in finding people to fly with, there's a great place to do that there as well. There's a printout of the list. And that's going to do it for this build. I'll put a link to Ryan Kingston's Fleet Builder in the video description as well. And I will talk to you guys later. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Thank you guys for following along with me. Big thanks to my patrons as well. You guys are awesome. I could not do this without your continued support, so thank you so much. And to everybody else, thank you for watching. And as always, have a great day.